Hello, everyone, and welcome to another session of the Biomechanics Challenge. So this is the third year that I'm here, and I have the pleasure to host this event. And I'm also really glad to see many of you have coming here again. I'm really happy to have all of you here. We have a lot of people, a lot of enthusiasm, so I'm really glad to start this event. And today, this webinar will be to start the 2 weeks of hard work that I hope that you'll put in during this challenge, and will also reflect all the work and preparation that we have been doing throughout this whole month that's of preparation. So first, to start, I would like to have a bit of interaction here in the webinar. So all of you, if you could find the chat, then you could say hi or say something, react to us, so we can see that you are there and you are enthusiastic about the event. So please let me know if you can hear me well, if you can see me well, or how enthusiastic you are about the event. Great responses. Thank you so much. Secondly, there is an emoji section. Would you be able to send emojis to me so I can see the feedback? Nice. I'm really happy to see you all here. Super fun. And I hope that this will be also fun for you as well as it's for me. So let's just start this event. I need to pass the next slide. So for today's meeting, we will start by we have here a miss in the studio. I'm sorry. So we will start this event by having an overall overview of the event, so you'll know exactly what is waiting for you on the next 2 weeks, what type of events we have. Then we have an introduction from our main partner. So this year, our main academic partner is the University of Trento. And presenting here with us, we have live Professor Giandomenico Nolo, which is an associate professor at the Department of Industrial Engineering, working a lot in health and innovation projects. And then we have Andrea Zignali, with a strong background in designing mathematical models for sport physiology and performance. And they will explain a bit of the research that is done in the University of Trento and their interest on also participating here in the event with us. And finally, we have Carmen, a technical application specialist and a team leader of the solutions team in Movella. And she has a strong background. She's a background in the technical physician in the Netherlands, and she has a strong background in field experience measuring and analyzing movement on athletes. She will tell you a bit more in detail about the case study this year and go to exactly what are the parameters that you need to measure throughout and that you need to compute these 2 weeks. And I hope the curiosity is now raising up. And for this, now today, we have 233 participants here. We have about 81 teams from 28 countries. So it's a lot of people. And we also are really happy this year to have mentors with us. So it's the first year that we introduced this role. So we can involve also researchers in the field in this event, giving it a bit more interaction and networking between everyone. So I appreciate a lot everyone that registered and got interest for this event. So we start today with the Kickoff webinar, and you will also have a release of the case study. You will receive an email right after this webinar with the case study in your hands. Then on the 16th of March, so next week, we have a technical training about our product in Movella and about the software, and you can ask any questions you have about analyzing the data. And 1 week after, so on the Thursday at midnight in Central Europe, you need to send in your reports via email on biomechanics.challenge@movella.com. Then we have a jury committee that will also be presented by Carmen later on, a very strong jury committee this year that will have a full week to evaluate the projects. And then on the 6th of April, we'll have the final presentation for the top teams that will be selected to present. We also launched this year a website, and just due to all the enthusiasm from your side, we were able to get this event bigger and larger and to launch this website. So there you can find the resource pages where the recording of this webinar will be posted, as well as registration for other webinars. So you can just consult this page anytime you have any doubts. If there's any questions still that you can't be answered there, then you can send us an email at biomechanics.challenge@movella.com. So this is what you'll get today. There is a case study document with all the details, already as last year was like that, all the details that you need to do, a little description. We have recordings that will be sent to you, and a license for our software. So the deadline, I just want to put here again, the 23rd on Thursday at midnight. So I will start by first talking a bit about Movella. Maybe Movella is a new name. Here we were previously called Xsense, and recently we moved the name to Movella. And I'd like to start to explain the reason why this happened. So Movella we started in 2009 with M-Cube, and then Xsense was added in 2019. And then recently we also acquired Kinduct, a company in Canada that does a platform management system. And then all these three companies went under the Movella name, and everything now will be changed, the names of it. We have our headquarters in San Jose, in the US, and our main office with most people is still here in Enschede. We have about 250 employees, and we have a lot of contacts worldwide from distributors or offices spread around. So we have 4 business lines. Our main business lines are here represented. So we have entertainment for movies and games, as you might have already seen some of our clips. Then we have a big health market, sports, and industrial, more for applications related with autonomous driving, with drones. And today I will go a bit more in detail on the health and sports. It's why our challenge is about. So here's a movie for you. All right, so As you could see in the movie, was just to give a bit of a teaser about our technology. I think that some of you already know it, some of you might not know it yet. So what you'll be working on today will be with our motion capture solutions. And we have the MVN link. This is the system that we use for our recordings. And the MVN link has all our IMU sensors. So IMU stands for inertial measurement units. And basically is a gyroscope, accelerometer, and a magnetometer. And those three components allows you to get orientation of the sensor in space. If we apply that information on the biomechanical model of a person, we can animate the person in the computer. So that's how we do motion capture with IMUs. You'll get to know much more in detail about this on the technical training later on. So the link system, we use it because it allows us to record on board. So the link system is consisted of all the sensors are wired and has a body pack, which is a small computer that is placed on the back of the athlete. And all the data will be recorded on that body pack. So we can record anywhere we like. We don't need a computer to be linked to the system to record. So most of the applications that I use for this system are related with sports. So I will just show some videos about some applications that were done by some of our customers. So in climbing, for example, to analyze the postures and to optimize the performance of the athletes when they go up the wall. What are exactly the right postures for them to reach the top as fast as possible? There's also applications, for example, in athletics. And why are we using this system mostly for sports? So you can see that it's a full body. So all the sensors are inside the suit. So they are not loose. They are very sturdy, fixed. And also the output rate that we get of the system is 240 hertz. So that is a very high output frequency that allows us to analyze all the dynamic movements that occur during sports. Then lastly, next we have the window system. So this is a system which all our IMU sensors are wirelessly synchronized with the station. So they send their data wirelessly. There is no such body pack that can record the data. So we need to have a computer to stream the data into. But it's a system that is easier to place, doesn't require that full suit or wires around. So it's much more used in case of rehabilitation or health or physiotherapy centers sometimes, just because the setup is a bit quicker. So here you also have an example of gait analysis. So this is a product that we also have on our Motion Cloud about gait report. So in 7 minutes, you can get immediately a gait report generated. Or other applications besides physiotherapies, for example, in workstations. So you can analyze the postures and making sure that the workers are working in an ergonomic, safe environment. And this is very widely performed in high manufacturers because of European standards that they need to be met. Another product that is used also in health and sports is our DOT sensor. So this is also an IMU, but is just a single sensor mostly. You can use also multiple ones synchronized together. But the main feature is that it communicates via Bluetooth. So it's mostly created to use together with apps and for mostly developers. So the sensor itself just gives raw data of acceleration, of the orientation and magnetic field. And then it's up to the clients to create their own apps on top of it. And there's also really nice examples. One of them is, for example, Illyria. Is hosted in Italy. And it creates really nice applications with few of these sensors on a rehabilitation environment together with some games to help patients on rehab, either at home or in a clinic. Secondly, we also have another customer that did a full run analysis with one single sensor. So that was placed on the foot, and they were able to measure all the parameters during running, which is also a very clever idea to use this one dot. All right, and I hope this gives you a lot of inspiration and gives you a good overview about what our products in health and sports are capable of doing. And I hope you are curious to see more about it. But first, I'd like to give the floor to the University of Trento, to Andrea first, and then to Giandomenico.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. So, okay, and I hope you have a good presentation.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Movella. We are very happy to be here today with these 109 people that are connected at the moment. So it's a very big event. I'm here to present University of Trento and try to introduce our motivation for collaboration with this challenge. We found the request to collaborate coming from Movella very interesting for us. And there are a lot of motivation for that. I try to explain to you now. The next one, please. The University of Trento is a quite new university, founded in the early years of 19th century or the 20th century. It have about 60,000 students enrolled right now, with more than 700 professors and 700 technical administrative staff. It is well posed in the international and national ranking, as is the fourth Italian university in the World University Ranking, and is the third Italian university in the QS World University Ranking, but is also at the first place in both the general ranking of state university and in the ranking of the 16 medium-sized university as we are. The next one, please. On the whole, we are we have 11 departments and 4 centers. All our departments are on all field of science, from physical and mathematical science to engineering to humanities. The last born in our Ateneo is the Center for Medical Sciences and the related School of Medicine that is currently to the 3rd year of the laurea in medicine and surgery. The next, please. One of the motivation is our research activity. One of the motivation is our well good position in the ranking of a university, but another one is our specificity on the territory. The University of Trento is located in a beautiful mountain region, that is the Trentino. The Dolomites are one of the UNESCO World Heritage Sites with many lakes, and one of them, the Lake of Garda, is considered a paradise for sailing and climbing. Trentino is also a borderland between the Mediterranean area and the Central Europe, so is in a good position for collaboration. And the region also always benefited from its location to innovate and create new idea. We try to call it a sort of Silicon Valley in the Alps, but not just us, but also media have done it. And so it is an ideal place to live, to have fun, to practice sport, to make innovation and science. The next slide, please. We, in 2018, we launched an Institute for Sport, Technology and Research, ISTAR, as a collaboration between the Department of Information and Science and the Industrial Engineering Department. We can define the main area as the improvement of performance, evaluation improvement of performance, injury prevention, rehabilitation, and sport medicine, engagement, fun engagement, entrainment, as we see before by the Movella movie, smart facilities, media and marketing, organization of sporting events, and e-sport, the social phase of sports activity that we can consider. The next one, please. Why winter sport and why we are involved in this challenge? Trentino have a long tradition in winter sport. Winter sport have an incredible economic impact for sport and tourism. Trentino hosts world-class winter sport facility, including alpine ski, cross-country ski, sky jump, speed skating, ice hockey, curling, and so on. And he hosted a large number of international events and competition, relatively less explored than other popular sport, but, the next slide, please. We are going to be part of the Winter Olympic Games, Milano Cortina 2026, as Trentino will host the entire program of cross-country, ski jumping, and Nordic combined. In Trentino, we will be assigned the highest number of medals among the host cities of the competition. We think that the games are a great opportunity to rethink the mission of the winter sports facilities by enabling the area to become an international hub for research, development, and innovation, also in the sport and the sport science. An important role will be played by the implementation of a digital infrastructure for collecting and analyzing sport data in the competition venues. This will contribute to the definition of a game's legacy and long-term sustainability model for the venue. The next slide, please. One of the topics is the measurement and the data models that will be followed, our capacity to record data, and Movella could be a partner for this. Please, I will the floor to Andrea Zignoli, that is part of our research staff, that will introduce you in our approach to measurement and modeling.
Thank you, Gian Domenico, for the introduction. I will go a bit deeper into the technical details of what we are doing at the University of Trento, specifically in the two departments that Gian Domenico mentioned, and the two departments that are involved in a biomechanics challenge with Movella. I will not be able to cover everything we do, but if you are interested into knowing much better what we're doing in terms of research, you can visit the website of the university, of course, and visit the programs of the master courses and undergraduate courses. We've been talking about like measurements because we know that measurements lie at the very bottom of what we do in terms of research, and we do measurements around the individual exercising on doing some sport activity. Once we measure something or an event, we then have the problem of managing this data coming from all the sensors, and then the problem of interpreting the data coming from the sensors, because without any context, we only have data, but we don't have information about the individual exercising. So we use like mathematical modeling to make sense of the data and to interpret the data. So if you look at this ecosystem, we are interested into every single element of this diagram from measurement. So we develop like measurement systems and data management. So we develop data pipelines, so databases, and then models, mathematical models for the performance. And we develop like different kind of models, from first principle based models to data-driven models. If you think at ourselves like as a sports engineers, we lie at the intersection between the world of engineers and data scientists and software developers. And then on the other side, there are like exercise physiologists or physiotherapists or professionals working in the field of kinesiology, physicians and medical doctors, or even athletes and coaches, but even governing bodies and organized institutions. And so we need to bridge this gap, because we have like different backgrounds and different needs and different terminologies and different lexicons. So we needed to close this gap with the technology that we develop to improve the health and the performance of the people we are working for. In this example, we show you like how we use, for example, motion capture from a drone footage to track the trajectory of a bike descending a road. We were interested in to know if we could apply some principles of vehicle dynamics to road cycling. And in this study particularly, we partnered up with some pro cycling teams, and we try to estimate the lateral acceleration from the model of a bike and rider together. A few other examples for you to try to understand better what we do. We have like a research going on HRV, which stands for heart rate variability in athletes, to understand like the recovery. Then on sarcopenic obesity, so functional evaluation testing for sarcopenia, and development of algorithms for wearables like IMUs, for example, applying deep learning technologies to extract more information from single sensors. And then the design of shoes for cycling, and the application of musculoskeletal modeling principles to the study of ACL injuries in female football players. And then again, principle of robotics and multi-body dynamics applied to the running kinematics in ultramarathon. And then the use of ultrasounds to study musculoskeletal modeling and muscle stiffness. Another example that I can provide you with, it's like an example from a late research developed in our laboratories, where we try to synchronize all the different sensors coming from different systems in the body of an individual. For example, you can see like in the top left corner, we have like a information coming from an EEG signal, so the activity at the brain level, let's say. And then we have like the activity for a heart rate monitor at high frequency, so we can detect like the different intervals and HR variability, for example. And then we have like the muscle activations with electromyography, for example, which is like the end of like the input that drives the movement. And then we have like the application of strain gauges to the thorax to try to measure like the different expansions and contraction of the thorax, to measure like the breathing frequency and the volume of the thorax expanding during the respiration act. And then we have like another example of all different sensors synchronized together. In this case, we set like some sensors on the cycling shoes, and we were able to measure both the pressure of the foot on the insole of the shoe, and also the strain gauges on the sole to detect all the strain in the shoes. And everything was like synchronized with the muscle activity and motion capture for body position. We did that in collaboration with a company which is designing high-level cycling shoes. And then we have like the Department of Information and Informatics. We have like a research team working on computer vision and data analysis from that perspective. So in the last decade, there has been a lot of attention devoted to the study of tracking the players inside the field in team sports. In this case, we can see like a picture with the basketball players, but we know that it's today it's a very hot topic also in football, for example, or in other team sports. And this research group applies the principle of computer vision and deep learning technologies to tracking the players and the ball together on the screen. And with this information, we can track the position of the players, of course, and detect the strategy of the team, or doing different measure. And in basketball, it's kind of different than football, because you cannot use a GPS for tracking the players. So it's very it's a cutting edge research topic. I can show you a video that our researchers shared with us, and you can see like this system was able to track the referee and the ball as well, and differentiate between like the players wearing the white jersey from the players wearing the black jersey. And you can see that you can have like this information just with the camera after calibration. So it's very powerful, because it does not it's not make any pressure on the player, so the players that do not perceive the measurements going on. So with this video, I leave you to comment for the presentation of the case study. I hope like for the best for your challenge. And if you're interested in the research we are doing at the University of Trento, please visit our website or get in touch with us, and we can discuss further. Thanks.
All right, thanks Andrea and Giandomenico for your presentation. We're really happy to be partnering up with you this year. And it's up to me to now present to you guys what the case study is for this year. All right, so 2023, if you've been watching the socials, you might have already gotten a hint, but this year it's on cross-country skiing. Right, so let me tell you a little bit about cross-country skiing, about how it came to exist. So in ancient times, skiing was about getting from A to B on snow efficiently. Walking in deep snow was exhausting, snowshoes were okay, but skis were king. So rock carvings of people on skis were already found in Scandinavia, Russia, and China, dating back from as far as 6,000 years. However, it were the Sami people of the northern Scandinavia, also known as the Lapps, who are widely credited for being the inventors of the ski. They had, as you can see in the picture there, one short ski with a natural fur traction surface that was called the ender, and they had one long ski for the gliding, the long ski. Early cross-country skiers relied on just one long pole or spear. Skis weren't always of solid wood, but could also be of a wooden frame covered in animal skin. So from a way of transportation and a method for hunting, it was also adopted by the military, based in snow-covered countries mostly, like Norway. They had introduced special ski squads that would be fast teams on the snow. The Norwegian military was actually the first one to organize an official ski competition back in the year 1767. And these games were divided in 4 classes. So you had the downhill racing among trees, you had shooting at a target while skiing at top speed, you had downhill racing on large slopes without falling, and finally you had long racing on flat ground. So this was the start of the cross-country skiing evolving from a transport-related activity to being a global recreational activity and winter sport. So on the cross-country skiing as we do it today, let me explain a bit on the technique of the sport. There are 2 different techniques in cross-country skiing, and each technique requires a different set of gear. We have the classical technique and we have the skating technique. To start with the classical technique, it consists of 5 sub-movements or techniques. The first is the herringbone, then we have the running diagonal stride, the diagonal stride, the kick double pull, and the double pull. I have a short video on this that will show you the techniques. Diagonal stride, the kick double pole. The double pole. And the herringbone. Now, the skating technique is a more new technique, and it has only been widely adopted since the 1980s. It requires a different gear than a classical technique, and the athletes that you will be analyzing later on will be skiing in classical style. But let me show you the skating technique anyway. It consists of the sub-movements diagonal skate, offset or V1 skate, one skate or V2 skate, two skate or V2 alternate, and free skate. Also on this, I have a video to explain the techniques, or to show you the techniques. Firstly, the diagonal skate, the offset V1, the one skate V2, and the two skates V2 alternate, and finally the free skate. So the sub-movements of each of these techniques can be ranked from power to speed. The power techniques are good for overcoming resistance and can be used to climb hills or get started from a standstill, or to just put on a burst of speed. The power techniques are coordinated so that most of the time you are pushing with the poles and or the skis. There's little to no free gliding time in the power techniques. The speed techniques feature longer glide times and are good for when you are traveling more quickly. The double pole is actually an interesting exception. For a variety of reasons, double pole is no longer simply a speed technique, but is used across a wide range of conditions and terrain. Additional to these, both the skate and the classical skiing technique share the same downhill techniques, which we can identify as snowplow, skid turns, and step turns. So to gather some data, we went to Val di Fiemme. This is a valley in the Trentino province in the north of Italy, and it is located in the Dolomites mountain region. Originally, it fell under the Austrian Empire, but in 1920, at the end of the First World War, it was annexed to the Kingdom of Italy. The valley was eroded by the Evesio River, which springs from the Marmolada Glacier. Within Val di Fiemme, located in the tiny village of Tesero, you will find the Lago di Tesero cross-country stadium. So this sport venue has a cutting-edge artificial snow system guaranteeing perfect tracks from December to the middle of March, despite being located only at 900 meters above sea level. The stadium has hosted many world championships, and as Giandomenico already said, it will be one of the host sites for the Milano Cortina 2026 Winter Olympics. The complete route on this track develops on a 3.5 kilometer loop. It will run down here all the way over some hills, and from that main route, 3 other shorter routes can be skied. So for the Biomechanics Challenge, we were at the stadium ourselves, collecting data that you are going to use for the coming 2 weeks. And we've asked the subjects to ski around the track here several standardized times. So without perspective and my awesome drawing skills, this red line would represent a nice oval shape. To measure all the athletes you're going to analyze, we've put them all in an Xsense link suit. And additional to the biomechanical data, we were very interested this year in their positional data as well. Within our software, we can derive positional data from the orientation data of the sensors, but due to the gliding movement of the skiers, our algorithms aren't sufficient. So we've hooked the skiers up with a very accurate RTK GNSS recording system. The RTK antenna is placed there. Yep. And it is attached to one of our industrial sensors and the data is stored on a mini computer worn on the back. So this type of GPS will give you a 1 centimeter accurate positional data. And additional to that, we measure the GPS from the Garmin watch that you can see on the wrist of the skier here. And finally, we have integrated GPS signal in our Xsense body packs. So all the athletes were also recorded with high-definition cameras, which will be used for video-based motion capture. We collected all the data and analyzed it all, and we made sure that it's ready to use for you. So this is what that would look like. This is one of the this is the biomechanical data of one of the athletes going around the track. The arrows on the hand and the feet that you see here represent the extra sensors that we placed on them that are on the poles and on the skis. So they'll be available for you to use in your calculations. Now, a quick sum up of the data. You will be sent a link to download all of this after the webinar. We have the 3D biomechanical data from the Xsense Link Suit. You will get all these GPS data sets. You get some frontal pictures of the athletes, a picture of the area. You get an Excel data sheet with information that you need about the athletes. And finally, you will get some weather data of the days that we were there. So this year, you will have to calculate a performance parameter for each of the athletes. This is unique for each of them, and we are going to help you out with some sub-parameters to give you a nice basis. So firstly, we'd want you to calculate the smoothness of the movement, the coordination, and the balance. So analyze the kinematics of the movement and explain how these kinematics can be converted into performance. We'd also like you to calculate the power output of the upper body versus the lower body. Define the power output during the cross-country skiing, and if relevant, split it between upper and lower body, and provide us, if you can, with a ratio. Finally, the adopted strategies and the track. So the different athletes may have adopted slightly different locomotion patterns, like the sub-motions that I just showed in the technique. What is the influence of these strategies on the performance? And can the estimation of the frontal area be of interest to determine the aerodynamic drag force? These parameters, you must clearly justify which methods, assumptions, and scientific knowledge you used to determine your parameter. And we'll be giving you 4 of the athletes already determined in their level. There are another 4 athletes that you will be defining based on your performance parameter. So you'll be ranking them. Then you should have a mathematical method that describes your performance parameter per athlete. And you could have an automatically generated performance parameter per trial and automatically detect the ski cycles. Now, if you don't have enough by that performance parameter, we have some additional IDs for you to work on. For the first, we challenge you to calculate the friction coefficient of the snow, which is relevant for athletes to improve their performance. And additionally, you can choose to make a 3D reconstruction of the ski slope. Are you able to reconstruct the cross-country track we did the measurements on? Now, finally, I'd like to introduce you to the jury committee. Firstly, we have Daniel Deberden. He has been on cross-country skis in the Black Forest since the age of 3, from which he developed a special interest in sports, mainly outdoors and winter sports. He's a mechanical engineer, but is now doing a PhD in recognizing movement patterns in skiing with Xsense technology. Then we have Jeroen van der Epp. He's a researcher and embedded scientist, and strives to understand a particular movement in sports from a biomechanical point of view. He provides meaningful feedback to coaches and athletes with that, and does that in different sports like gymnastics and speed skating. Damiano is a biomechanical engineer, currently carrying out research at the University of Trento, and he primarily studies individuals' performance analysis and physiological data processing in sports and medical fields. Then we have Dr. April McPherson. She completed her PhD on how neural contributions affect ACL injury in risk and recovery. And she has worked a lot with the US Olympic team for the last 3 years. She is now at the Emory Sports Performance and Research Center as a research scientist. Now then finally we have Andrea Signoli, who you've all met just now in his presentation. And then finally, I'd like to make you all aware to send in your report and additional files on this challenge before the end of Thursday, the 23rd. Send it to biomechanics.challenge@movella.com. Make sure you make the deadline. It's midnight Central European time. And then I can only hope that you'll have fun in the coming 2 weeks. May the best team win. Do we have any questions? I think I can check here on the board. All right, so I got in some questions here through the iPad. Feel free to put in some questions in the chat, and we'll be answering them now. So Andy asks, can we supplement the data set with our own external data? No, we cannot. We cannot. No. No. So you'll have to use the data that we send you, but be creative with it. We do encourage that.
Just also to be fair for everyone, to be everyone on the same sheet.
Yeah, that makes sense. Any other questions? Good. None in the chat. Thank you all for joining. And if you do have any other questions, feel free to send them to biomechanics.challenge@movella.com. And have fun.
Good luck.
Bye.